thank you for having us tonight. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, members of NEWNC. We're here tonight to present Mass DOT Parcel 9 Haymarket project for you. My name is Amy O'Mara. I'm with Harbinger Development. I'm one of the sponsors of the development project. My partner Justin Krebs with Normandy Real Estate Partners was unable to join us tonight. But I am joined by Mel Schumann, our permitting counsel, Isabella Cunha with our project management team, and Robert Brown and Sandy Smith with Perkins & Will, who will be presenting the design to you tonight. Just as some background, the Mass DOT issued an RFP in December of 2011, and after a lengthy 2-year public process, we were awarded the development rights for Parcel 9 on August of 2013. The Parcel 9 site was made possible by the Central Artery Tunnel Project and the opening of this center part of downtown along the Greenway. And we think, and I think you'll see in the presentation tonight, we really think pound for pound the best development site and one of the most important sites in downtown Boston. The project essentially is the third leg of the stool for the creation of Boston Market District. And with the Boston Public Market at Parcel 7 being one stool, and the historic Haymarket being the other and third stool. Our Haymarket project includes up to 225 hotel rooms and approximately 25,000 square feet of retail. Importantly, our project will tie back this parcel into the north end boundary neighborhood, enhance the Greenway with public amenities and a pavilion element, and importantly, improve and preserve the Haymarket pushcart operation. Just as some schedule, we filed our expanded project notification form on October 14th with the Boston Development Authority, and that entire document is available at the BRA. The comment period runs through Friday, November 14th. We had our scoping meeting with the BRA and city agencies 2 weeks ago. We met with our IAG, the Impact Advisory Group, and we had a community meeting at City Hall. And on November 4th of last week, we presented to the BCDC, the Boston Civic Design Commission. We really look forward to working with the neighborhood, with NEWNC residents to fulfill the vision for this site, to improve Haymarket, to fill out and sort of resolve the market district vision for the city, and to build a truly great project at Parcel 9 that can be an amenity for the neighborhood and enhance the overall community. With that, I'd like to have Robert Brown go through the design in detail. We'll go, at a good pace. It's a pretty long presentation, and then if there's any questions, we're happy to answer them tonight, and we're happy to discuss anything you want going forward, and you can get in touch with us at any time. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Anna. The project, just sort of general statistics, is about 140,000 square feet, 225 keys or rooms, 25,000 square foot of retail, and the parcel size is about 50,000 square feet. You'll see in just a second. So, as Amy was saying, it's certainly a very important site. If you go out there today, it seems, every time I walk past, it seems smaller and smaller. But part of it is because the loading, which is sort of dead center within the scheme, is really sitting within the building line, and then there's the Blackstone Street itself, which is the total size of the parcel. So this shows it sort of flipped in the opposite direction. The north end, there's Hanover Street, it's right there. Surface artery sitting here, Parcel 7, Parcel 9. Really made up of two pieces. There's the parcel itself, which is about 30,000 square feet, and then the road, which is about 21,000 square feet, which is going to be substantially improved, and we'll get to that in a second. As you well know, a tremendous history here starting in the 1830s. Really interesting photographs up in the left-hand corner, seeing that the built environment that was there before the central artery came in. Obviously, the artery making a swath through the building. And then what we're hoping is to really return it more to that context that was originally there in the early 1800s. Again, speaking of the choir here, centrally located in all sorts of ways, right on the Freedom Trail and adjacent to the Greenway that is so valuable to all of us as this lifeline within the city. The other thing that's really important is it is a part of this market district that the Mayor Menino really put forward in the last administration. The Boston Public Market, the Haymarket itself, the Pushcart Association, and then Parcel 9 as a piece of that. And so when we did some urban design analysis, it's not just within that blue line where the market district is, but there's Faneuil Hall, there's 1237 Plaza that has retail, and obviously Hanover Street and Salem Street. And the yellow dots just identifying the various pushcart activities, all sorts of kind of pop-up activities that are happening all around us all the time. So if we look at the specific parcel itself, and there's the surface artery, the greenway sitting there, Hanover Street, and Blackstone itself, Creek Square, which is the parking lot. It's really made up of sort of three things. The green is the entry space and actually the public way through the building for the hotel. The hotel actually is on the second floor, so this is all very much public space. The yellow is retail, so as we were saying, there was about 25,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet on the first level. And then a major piece in the lavender and in the gray is really dedicated towards the Pushcart Association. The lavender is storage space, office space, and restrooms, and the gray are all the dumpsters that are there. 4 dumpsters that really allow the Haymarket to really support itself, not have trucks coming in and out all day long, and it'll be internalized, so it's no longer sitting out in the air. It's no longer a place where people will be able to pile stuff on top. In addition, there's a separate loading zone that's off to the side, which is for the hotel, and so that's directly up into that location. And then the building, you'll see in a rendering in a second, actually sits back 8 feet from the property line, so that when you see in a second the way the booths lay out, they can still sell from the backside and forward instead of it being shoved up against the building. If we look at sort of the overall circulation on that first floor, the lineup by the surface artery is really identifying circulation of cars and buses. Certainly on Hanover Street, there's a population that's going to be running in the orange. And then there's just the pedestrian connections through the buildings, showing where there could be a crossover from the North End Park through Creek Square, and then just around. So it's really sort of a nexus as a hotel function. Hotels are 24/7, they're open all the time. So that we're not seeing front doors that are locked if it was a retail outlet or if it was an apartment house or anything. So take a look at now, this is showing sort of market day. Many of you probably know this better than I. These are very prescribed locations for each market owner. We are moving one, which is in this location by the loading dock. Right here, so we can get in and out, and it's being moved to the side. But each one of these is a very specific location. I was saying that the market can set up on the sidewalk that's sitting here, and then there's that 8 feet behind. And this is a good time to start talking about what are we doing to Blackstone Street. Well, Blackstone Street is going to be completely redone. The street itself is going to be brought up to the level of the sidewalk, so that we no longer have pallets that have to be laid out so that vendors can stand on that while half their vending area is sitting on the sidewalk itself, so it'll be a smooth configuration. Secondly, there's going to be stanchions probably at every 10 to 20 feet that will have water, power, and the ability to make some connections. So no longer do we have to have just individual canopy coverings made by each of the vendors, but something that could be made a little bit more cohesive, a little more interesting. We'll see some examples going forward. Power, so they don't have to have generators. Water, so that there's water right there. There's really, they can keep the place as clean as they possibly can. And storage, so that in many cases, they would have to set up starting at 4 in the morning. We're really seeing that this is going to be able to advance to 6 or 7 o'clock before they open up. So that they're coming in, the stanchions go in place, their sales are displays are put up, and then they can start selling off that location. Important is how is traffic moving through there. Important to this whole property is the fire lane. So this big gray line is showing the fire lane. It's also where the trash loading will come out of the 4 compactors that are sitting here. The building loading most likely is going to be scheduled in off hours, so it's not competing with the vendors. And then bus and taxi or auto drop-off does occur here, and we'll be going up to the 2nd floor. And this site does not have parking. We don't have, underneath this building are the ramps. So there's not parking below. So there's an affiliated arrangement with the garage that are around, so that parking can't occur there. And there's going to be a fair amount of conversation on the existing bus layover that sits in that area. And so there's been conversations with ATD on working that through. Second floor. The second floor has a 2-story atrium space off the drop-off. Go up the stairs or up the elevators. There's a reception. There's a small lounge. There's offices for the hotel itself. There's a community room, which this meeting can take place and is really dedicated for community activities. At the same time, there will be some hotel work. There is a potential for a pool, potential for a fitness, but that's all dependent on which hotelier we actually move forward with. So it's an amenity space to be determined. This area right here is actually outside, so there's a terrace on the top of the first level. So there's a break between what is the hotel and then 6, which is the yellow, which is a 2nd level of retail that connects to the lower level. And then important and sort of new to the project is a lot of stuff that was occurring in the basement is now being brought up to the 2nd floor. So transformers are on the 2nd floor, then switch gears on the 2nd floor, emergency generators on the 2nd floor, really to respond to the changing tides. So it's a much more resilient, secure, and safe building. The hotel floors, which are 3 through 9, are pretty straightforward. So there's a double-loaded corridor, there's the elevator bank, and there's rooms that are surrounding that. The massing is pushed towards the surface artery, so it gives as much light and open air as possible towards the market. It also, if there's any real noise, it's as far away as we possibly can. And really the hotel rooms on the corners are facing this way and off to the side. That green space is sitting up on that roof, and then this is the roof you can just barely see out of the upper retail. Just re-identifying the connection through. So we have a connection where you can walk directly through the building in the public realm. At the same time, we can go up the stairs, and this is where the lobby is, and then up the elevator bank, up to the various floors for the rooms. The yellow is identifying the amenity spaces, and really sort of that western light is going to really come in and deeply light that. So now we'll just take you sort of on a walk around. This is if you were standing really up on the upper surface artery looking across the park. It shows the larger mass of the hotel, the entry to the hotel, the pavilion, the 2-story pavilion, Blackstone Street behind that, and obviously the city buildings that are there. walking down just about at the corner of Salem Street, looking back. And we're going to show you some real photo montages of exactly how much of the Blackstone Square you can see, because there's, we've talked with many of your neighborhood representatives that the visibility to Blackstone Square is really an important part of this project. And but it shows the second level of what retail there might be, first level retail. This is where that green space is, the entry to the hotel.
I would just add, you know, this is sort of an important point in the presentation, that 2 to 3 year process for the planning, there was a lot of feedback from the community of the zoning height, instead of it being a block, that to have lower on the right and higher on the left, so that the views from Hanover Street into the neighborhood could be preserved towards the Blackstone block. So that massing was prescribed, and we sort of fit into that massing as to what was the objective from the public feedback prior to the issuance of the RFP. So, and this is what we've been presenting all along, but we sort of resolved the design with some character and some ideas, but it's really about a massing that was actually given to us from the community initially.
Hasn't the overall height been lowered too throughout that process, if I can recall? On the higher part of it?
The
old drop that down initially too?
No, what we did was, I mean, the zoning height is 55 feet across. So we're doing 25 to 27 on the left and 100 on the left. 25 to 27 on the right and 100 on the left. And it's like squeezing a balloon. You know, you can either push it down, you know, so if we were to make the left lower, we'd have to make the right higher. And the objective really was, the most important thing was to preserve the view of historic Blackstone block, 350-year-old buildings, the Union Oyster House sign, that experience from coming from the north end, walking over, and setting the height over towards the garage.
Yeah, can you kind of wrap it up, because we need to...
Yep.
Yep. This is just looking from Blackstone Street looking back, so that you see the hotel and its yellow configuration. On the left is the market. This is showing the back of the market sitting 8 feet back from the building, so the building is overhanging here under the building with columns of the market that's happening in front of it. And then just some comparisons. This is the existing condition, and then looking at it with the hotel in place, you can see the corner building quite lively. If you look a little bit more from Salem Street, the market really comes to a point, and you can see Dirty Nellies and other buildings that are sitting behind that. And then just sort of flat elevations in comparison, just looking back toward the hotel. And then just...
I think we should quote again.
Well, just sort of a study on the facade that we're taking a look at and how that's going to be laid out. So the advancement of the work is really starting to take hold as we move forward. And that's it.
Any other questions from the council?
Just where is this information publicly available?
The VRA website.
VRA
Go to the
website.
VRA website. There should be a link. You can get the project notification form right off the web.
And it's going to be called, as it is called on this agenda, the Haymarket Hotel?
Parcel 9.
The actual name could be determined. Really.
Okay, the actual
The actual name of the
because
project.
on the agenda it
For
just
where to
says...
find it on the site.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hey, can you look at a couple of slides where there was one slide showing how it looks now?
That's
and
what I was
then-
going to stop on. The rendering of down Blackstone Street. One more, right there.
Yeah, okay, so see, the clock tower kind of gets overshadowed. Did you have any thoughts?
Custom House Tower?
What?
The Custom House Tower?
Yeah, that's,
I think it's just that, you know, it's a particular angle. You know, the front view, when you look down Blackstone Street, for example, see, there's,
Yeah, so like
it just depends on the angle, you know, where you're looking from.
but that was considered and everything. right?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, from the audience.
Does the council intend to vote on this or
We're gonna
not?
vote, yes.
You do.
What's your name?
Victor Branya, I live on Atlantic Avenue. I want to present some information. I'll try to do it quickly. It has to do with views from the Greenway, from Salem Street, and from Hanover Street in the North End. During the long process before this went out to bid, it was important that the lower building on the right as you look from the north end be one story. The bid documents that Mass DOT circulated, and I'd like to get it over to the council, showed a one-story Market Hall. The text that went along with the bid documents went like this. Schematic designs for how this objective, that is the objective of lowering the Market Hall, can be achieved, which have the support of the Advisory Committee, the Haymarket Push Cart Association, Mass DOT, the VRA, and the community, as expressed at several public meetings on the subject, are included with this RFP that was part of the bid documents, what I just handed you, as Appendix H. If prospective bidders choose to propose other design options for this ground floor space, they will be required to meet or exceed the performance standard achieved by these plans. My feeling is that a two-story Market Hall does not meet or exceed the performance standards achieved by a one-story Market Hall. From the point of view of North Enders, looking at the historic ancient Blackstone block coming across from Salem Street, Hanover Street, and the Greenway, which was important not only to me, but as the Mass DOT recognized, to the community as expressed at several public meetings. Thank you.
Excuse me? Want to address that?
No, we feel very much the same way. I mean, one of the stories, I think the objective is the lowest massing possible on the right side for as long as possible. And, you know, we had looked at a 1.5 story space of a space that was 23 feet of one space. And there was some feedback in design meetings with the city that that point was just sort of too important, that there might have a little more urban activity there. And so could we make that 2 stories, that space, have another floor in there? We're trying to do the right thing with the project. We think it's what represents the wishes of all the planning. We think it's a better building. All we're trying to do is make the best building. So I appreciate that. Victor's on the IAG, and we've been working together on this, and I appreciate his comments. Thank you.
Any idea at this point in time what type of hotelier you may have, whether it be a chain or maybe a boutique company such as the Group? Or is it just no idea?
We have always positioned the hotel as what we would call as a moderately priced, select service, live-in service type hotel. Now, so what does that mean? What that means in our mind is the program doesn't have ballrooms and extensive internal programs, because our view is that the community, the neighborhood, the North End, there's so much going on around here that we don't need to build that program, and that therefore also if we keep the rooms organized and modestly scaled, we can price down, and that drives occupancy. So in terms of flag or not flag or brand, we haven't figured that out yet.
Any other questions? David Goggins, 188 North Street. Would you mind explaining the hotel drop-off zone? Is there going to be a driveway or a carve-out to accommodate guests arriving by motor vehicle?
Sure. Currently, there's a curb cut the entire length of the parcel from one end to the other. And currently, that is BTD signed as bus drop-off tourist coach. So we, in our filing with the city and part of our transportation plan, we envision using a majority of that, at least say half of that swath, for valet drop-off, vehicular drop-off to the hotel. And so in our plans with BTD, so we're working now with BTD of where would those coaches go, where would those buses go to allow us to park in front of that to get into the hotel. Then we would valet the cars off-site to a nearby garage, where we have a couple of garages that are options. It's business for the garages, so there are several options. Obviously, the Docksford garage next door has 800 spaces, and they're actually off hours for us, so that works pretty well. But we'll coordinate with the BTD. We had a meeting with them on Friday on where the coach buses go, which I think will be positive. If the coach buses now kind of block the park, and they block the Haymarket, and it's now that a few years ago that was a good spot for tour buses, but I think it's now that we're developing the parcels, we'll have to move those. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Just a quick questions. One about parking, Ashley, 112 Salem Street. So in terms of the parking, because you guys are going to be taking a chunk of the parking garage that already exists that's open to the public, does that mean that the rates are going to go up for the public? Like if you're taking a space away that's limited space, so they can charge more to now limited spaces? I don't know if that's come up. And then the other question I'm just wondering about is when you guys are doing construction, do you have a time frame of how long it would take? And would Haymarket still be open while you're under construction, or would it have to be closed during construction?
So on the first one, the parking, for example, in the Parcel 7 garage, our lease with DOT prohibits our hotel from parking in the Parcel 7 garage during market hours. So during those market days, so Friday and Saturday hours. So we won't impact that garage, for example. On the other garages, it's transient. I mean, our parking, which there's sort of a metric to how you get to how many cars come in a 225 peak hotel, the drive rate, but it's an overnight, parking situation. It's not a monthly or a multi-day park. It's just an overnight park. So I think there's capacity certainly in the Docksford garage. We've talked with the Sullivans about it. There's other facilities in some of the high-rise buildings. I don't expect our hotel to drive up parking rates in the area. And then secondly, Haymarket. This has been the whole key to the puzzle. Don't displace Haymarket, keep it, make it work, make it better. Haymarket will not be shut down at all. We have an agreement with the Haymarket Pushcart Association, a signed agreement with the HBA. We've been working with Otto Galata and Gus Serra and Emilio Favorito and a lot of the vendors that represent that as well. Our plan is to do a phased reconstruction of Blackstone Street, where they're there late Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we'll work around them and do the work on the street, which is the utility and then the leveling of the street. Beyond that, they will not be shut down during construction. We'll stay internal to our parcel during the building. The building's about a 20-month build.
Just one more question. The electricity and the water that you said was going to be now supplied to Blackstone Street, who pays for that? Would that be a cost that the hotel would incur in the building, or would that be now a new city cost that gets incorporated like into city taxes for water and electricity use?
So we're financing privately all of the public improvements, which we've listed in the filings with the city of what those numbers are. And those same commitments and those financial improvements are actually within our Mass DOT lease. We're required to do the work and install the outlets. The utilities, the usage of the water and electrical is metered to, will be metered separately and will be tallied up by HBA use. In addition, in our HBA agreement, we have arranged with them on the trash and the cost of trash and indemnifying them on the trash costs. So I don't think the utility issues will be too much of a big deal for them, but we're paying for it all to be put in. And then the maintenance and cleaning of the street after market days, actually.
Okay, we have to move along. Do you guys want to make a motion for a vote?
Want to vote on the Haymarket Hotel, 111 North Street.
Second.
Everybody has the vote.